Almost everyone who comes to Medellin goes through the exact same thing. The first few weeks, the city feels magical, perfect weather, amazing views, friendly people. Everything feels easier, cheaper, better. You wake up thinking, did I just hack life or find heaven? Like you found a cheat code nobody back home knows about. You start saying things like, I definitely could live here forever. You ignore the little red flags because the vibe is just too good. But here's the part no one warns you about. Medellin has a honeymoon phase, and one day, without warning, it starts to fade. Not because the city suddenly changes, but because reality slowly replaces the fantasy. Today I'm breaking down what the Medellin honeymoon phase is. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be discussing the honeymoon phase when it comes to Medellin, Colombia. Now, it is one thing that I don't think enough content creators cover, and it is actually a real thing, and I think we all experience that. As you've seen in the intro, what I talked about is definitely how I felt, and I know a lot of other guys have felt the same way. Not just guys, but just in general, everybody. How you go through the phase of when you first come here, everything seems so great. You're like, I could live here, and then once you actually start living here, you start realizing that it's just normal life. The city is the same as anywhere else. There's traffic, there's trash, there's pollution, there's everything that you have probably in your country here as well. So we're going to be talking about that today. So without further ado, let's just jump into it. So starting off with number one, and this is going to be this section pretty much is about dating and just social life in general. So starting off, when you first come here, dating can feel very effortless and it seems easy, right? It's a lot easier to go out on dates. It's a lot easier to do things. I would say maybe if you're a foreigner, depending on, if you're white or Asian or whatever you are, you may feel like you're getting more attention. And then I would say people confuse novelty for genuine connection. Now, also too, you tend to overlook a lot of the warning signs because everything just feels so fun, right? You get here, it's your first few days or whatever, and you don't really listen to what a lot of people say about going to Jettis Park or going on dating apps, whatever it may be. So this is one thing that starts, but you will quickly see after you start living here or you've been here for a while that dating is just as hard here as it is anywhere else. It's not easy. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of communication. You're going to have to deal with a lot of BS before you actually may find the one. It's a numbers game, just like anywhere else. Granted, you may get, you know, having the numbers maybe or getting the numbers may be a little bit more easier as far as volume, but still you got to sift through a lot of BS and vet very well in order to actually find the one. During the honeymoon phase, people don't fall in love with Medellin. They fall in love how Medellin makes them feel, I would say. All right, so getting into this next part, when the honeymoon phase starts cracking, I would say. And this is going to be where you start to find a bunch of small annoyances, things like it takes forever to get things done here, especially if you're trying to do any kind of business, if you're trying to, get any kind of paperwork done when it comes to visas or whatever, all that stuff definitely starts to play a part in it. Also, I'm going to say as well is that service, customer service is not as great here as it is in the United States or maybe Europe. So that's one thing that also kind of gets on people's nerves as well. But one of the main things is going to be noise. Medellin is still a developing city. COVID put a huge delay on that. So there is tons of construction everywhere you go, and there's constantly noise, whether it's noise from construction or it's noise from traffic. I live in an area where there's probably like 6 buildings going up around me, and I'm not even exaggerating that number. There's literally like 6 apartment buildings that are being built in my area. So noise is a huge one. Bureaucracy is another one. That gets annoying whenever you're dealing with anything that goes under that category. Safety awareness. As I said before in a TikTok, one of the questions you have to ask yourself if you want to live in Medellin is, are you okay with having to look over your shoulder or constantly be on the lookout for the rest of your life? And safety awareness is a huge thing here. And even myself, being someone that is going on little over 2 years, I'm going into my third year, into my junior year here in Medellin, just at a point when you start to feel comfortable, especially if you're living in the higher stratos, like anything that's a strato 4, 5, or 6, especially 5 and 6, like Poblado, Envigado, Sabaneta, you're in the El Tesoto area, all these higher estratos, you don't feel like, there is any real danger unless you see maybe a reminder here and there on Instagram, of a robbery that happened somewhere in the city, but, obviously it didn't happen to you, so it doesn't hit as close to home. But robberies and safety is still very much an issue here, even though you may not feel it. And coming back to what my point was, is just when you start to get comfortable is when something will probably happen to you. The only thing that's happened to me so far was I got pickpocketed in the Mita de las Flores festival. And to be 100% honest with you, it was my fault. I wore baggy, gym shorts with my phone hanging out my pocket. So in this case, I basically gave papaya, which one of the huge saying is here is no dar papaya, which you should know. And then lastly, it's going to be cultural differences. There's a lot of cultural differences here. Even myself to this day, and going into my third year here in Medellin, I'm still trying to get accustomed and used to. So make reality kind of kick in a lot faster than what you think. Especially when you're not just here on vacation and when you're actually living here long term. So what I have next on my list is life still has its problems here. It's just like anywhere else. I kind of mentioned this in the last little segment, but you're still going to have your issues and stuff here when it comes to dating, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to making friendships. And this is the hugest thing. It's extremely hard to make friendships here, especially if you're only making friendships with expats that are coming and going, or they're not here full time, and then everybody else has their lives and things that they're dealing with, and then you're still trying to find people who have personalities that match with yours. For example, when it comes to, just in general with social life and things like that, you may meet somebody, they like to go out and party, you don't. You may meet somebody, they like to do drugs and do other things, and you don't, or vice versa, whatever it may be. These are little things that can cause little frictions or be an issue with you actually trying to make friends here. Next, I have on my list, and I kind of touched on this in the last segment, is just Medellin isn't perfect. It's just like anywhere else. It has its pros and its cons, but it's up to you to figure out if the pros outweighs the cons as far as you wanting to live here. Some things don't change no matter where you live, and this is the same thing here. There's certain things that you have to deal with as far as racism or colorism or anything else like that. That stuff still exists here as well. These are all things you have to adapt to if you want to live here. If you don't, then you'll be one of those people that just end up staying here short term. And I would say my advice to anybody that is here, if you want to enjoy the honeymoon phase, don't rush big decisions. If you're here for a short period of time, enjoy it. Take your time, soak everything in, enjoy that period. It's something I would say I didn't really do, even though I still kind of feel like I'm in my honeymoon phase because I actually love Colombia and I love Medellin. I would say I'm still a little bit in that honeymoon phase in year three, but it is starting to wear off. Not 100% entirely, but yes, it is starting to wear off a little bit. But the big thing from this is don't rush any big decisions. I would say don't overspend just because it feels cheap. This happens a lot for dating with a lot of guys, is that, because everything feels cheaper here, they're going out to more of the expensive restaurants more often. They may be buying girls things more often. Don't do that. Just, try to move like a local does. Learn Spanish early. As soon as before I even got here, or before I moved here full time, I was already trying to take Spanish classes, and um, I came here for a month investigation period and basically did a Spanish for that entire month. But definitely learn Spanish early. I'm going to say next, you want to build routines, not just nightlife. Get into social clubs, or something with dance. Go to the gym. Set up routines. This will help you kind of get a little bit more acclimated and get used to things and having somewhat of a regular life here versus it just being you feeling like you're here on vacation. And the most important thing of all would be respect the culture. Respect the culture, guys. You are not at home no matter how long you live here. Even if you have your residency, you are still a guest here. This is not your country. And then to end this video off, I would say that my final takeaways, and I wrote some stuff down here if you see me looking, at my screen. The honeymoon phase isn't bad. It's just a part of the experience. This is something you're going to go through with every country that you go to or visit. So this is normal. It's not something that, Medellin is an anomaly. The mistake is thinking it's permanent. That love feeling or that euphoric feeling that you have when you first get here, it's not, it will wear off. So keep that in mind before you make your decision of potentially moving to Medellin, if that is in your plans or in your thoughts. And I would say, lastly, for this is that Medellin rewards people who evolve past the honeymoon phase. If you start getting into having a normal life here, learning the culture, learning Spanish, learning some of the slang, whatever it may be, but getting accustomed to how things work here in Medellin or Colombia in general, if Colombia is your goal, is getting accustomed to those type of things and not just staying in that honeymoon phase. So, and then lastly, I want you to subscribe to the channel. As I said before, I'm in my journey to try to reach 1,000 subs. I'm almost there. I think I'm around like 700 at the time of this video. And once again, I do thank you all for watching these videos, and am glad you guys are getting something out of it. So that is it for this video. I appreciate you watching, and guys, remember to travel and travel safe.